Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another knife-related video. Today I want to do a collection update video. Now, I haven't done one of those since earlier this year, but I've had a lot of changes, in my collection. It is not a large collection, but each piece is very special and very meaningful to me, and I think you'll really enjoy seeing this collection update. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open up this vault case and take a look at what's inside. So here it is, my knife collection as it stands as of this recording in late October 2020. And I previously did a collection update video back in the spring of 2020, right at the beginning of the global pandemic. And at that time, my collection looked very differently. I will put a link to that video in the description box of this video, but then as now, there were 10 knives on the table. The only two knives that are here in my collection and on the table that were in that previous video are these two knives right here. This is the Doug Ritter MKS, I forget that big long name, but the Ritter Hogue model, and of course the DDR Darryl Ralph knives Dominator ventilator. The other 8 knives, I believe, are new and different from that previous video. Let's go over what additions that I have made to the collection, and I will tell you that each of these videos has their own review here on the channel. In some cases, you'll even find an unboxing video. So we'll start up here in the upper left-hand corner with the newest knife in my collection, a knife that of course needs no introduction. This is the Konig Areas. Only had this for about a week now, and really liking it. I mentioned in the unboxing that the Konig Facebook group has recently had an FAQ added to it, and in that FAQ they discussed the fact that a new Konig Areas will require about a 2-week break-in period. And I have found that to be the case. The detent is lightening up a bit and wearing in a bit in this. It is more pleasurable to flip than it was in the review video that I did. I never said it was bad, but I did say it was a little strong for my taste. Still a little on the strong side, but very satisfying, quite honestly. It has a very satisfying action. There's a reason why this knife is considered to have one of the best actions in the high-end production knife community. Really fantastic. Just absolutely loving the Konig Areas, and I've been posting a lot of pictures on my Instagram feed of this picture, or of this knife. Next to that, another knife that is quite rare, that is quite difficult to come by. Got this earlier this year. This is the Vero Engineering Synapse. You can see it has just a gorgeous Timascus clip on there. It also has a Timascus backspacer. I also just received in the last week these natural micarta scales for the knife that really are fantastic. Quite honestly, I haven't carried this knife as much as I would like to carry a knife that's in my collection. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I just couldn't find a set of scales that I really liked. The red were okay, the blue were okay, even the black was okay. These natural micarta scales, phenomenal, fantastic. Really a good match for the rest of the knife, and I really do like it a lot. This really is a fantastic knife from Vero Engineering. Of course, Vero is a smaller company, and they do smaller drops, so these are in very short supply. Demand is really outstripping supply of all their products, really. Their last drop, I think, was last week of the mini fulcrums, and they sold out of about 200 of those in right about 4 minutes, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. Congratulations to Joseph and Michelle Vero. They deserve all the best. I actually do have another Vero knife pre-ordered, and I will discuss that here in a couple minutes. Let's keep moving on. Again, we have the Darryl Ralph Dominator Ventilator. This truly is one of the nicest knives in my collection. It's very unique. It's very different. Most of my collection, I tend to gravitate toward tactical folders. And this one I carried exclusively nearly every day for a year, simply because it's so easy to carry. It's so lightweight at 4 ounces, so thin between the scales. The blade is fantastic. You get a lot of capability with that blade. It's a very complex grind. Really just a fantastic knife in my collection. Really like it. It's got the anodized blue scale on the back, the titanium side, the clip side. There's just not a whole lot to complain about in this knife, so it has stayed in my collection for a couple of years now. I really like that knife. Here again is the Ritter Hogue. Really a fantastic knife, as I talked about in my review. The only reason this one hasn't gotten more carried or more used really is the fact that we're in the global pandemic. This is the knife that I intended to carry with me when I wanted a beater user knife. This is such a reasonable knife at about $140, I believe, shipped. Fantastic knife. I have not been able to carry that as much as I would want to, but I am by no means made any decisions to get rid of that knife. It's just a factor of where we are in life right now. Same goes for this knife. This is of course, the Chris Reeves Sebenza 31. I've done a couple of different videos on this particular knife. I did send this in to get the dual thumb studs, which I think looks fantastic. I love being able to open this left-handed. The knife is fantastic. I don't carry this enough, and I like it a lot. Again, probably the reason why I don't carry it more, because I'm not going into the office. I almost think of this as a dressier knife that I would want to bring with me to the office. And I just haven't had those opportunities yet. But fantastic knife, the new Sebenza 31. And I actually acquired 2 Sebenza 31s this year. This is my other one. This is the black micarta that I have really I like this one. I didn't think I would, but I like this one even better than the other one. Mainly because I'm not concerned a bit about carrying this. Those black micarta inserts really do protect the titanium areas from getting the usual snail trails that you get on a plain Jane Chris Reeve. The silver hardware goes so well with the rest of the knife. Really is fantastic. I've actually carried this a lot. Again, this is another knife that has I've gotten a lot of photographs on my Instagram feed. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. I think you'll find that there's a lot of fantastic content there. Really do like this knife, really enjoy it. This one's definitely not going anywhere in my collection, and I'm very happy to have 2 Chris Reeve knives in the collection. Another kind of thing to note is prior to this year, I never was a big fan of micarta, and I didn't think I would be. But these two knives, I got this one in black micarta first, and then this one in the natural micarta, and I've come to appreciate micarta more than I had in the past. So I find my tastes expanding as an enthusiast. Again, I tend to not think of myself as a collector because I don't like to have a large number of knives. Okay, the remaining 4 knives that you see here are all Hinderer XM18s. Again, looking back at that video that I recorded in March, the majority of my collection at that time was zero tolerance knives, ZT knives. And those have largely been replaced with these Hinderer XM18s. Some of these are, quite honestly, very difficult to find knives. One of the more rare ones that I picked up is this skinny sheepfoot that is just so fantastic to carry. You'll see I did pick up a 2020 filler tab there. Those have been, those sold out quite quickly when Hinderer dropped those earlier this year. And again, because of what a crazy year 2020 has been, people have really wanted to get some of those tabs in particular. And every day I see 2 and 3 wanted to buys for those 2020 filler tabs in the Hinderer Buy Sell trade group on Facebook. Another pretty difficult knife to find is the skinny slicer. Really fantastic knife. Both this and the skinny sheepfoot, just great knives to carry. Again, I can't wait to be able to go back to my office. Those 2 knives will be carried a lot. Just because they're so thin and they're lighter than a regular XM18. They're a pleasure to carry. Both of them are perfectly centered blades. The flipping action is really quite nice. Really, honestly, I don't think Hinderer gets credit enough for the flipping action on his knives. It's really, really quite good. I didn't really realize just how good until I got some of the other knives that you're seeing here in my collection. But you'll see I really blinged this one out with a lot of blue anodized hardware. I do have the screw nuts in the back that have the Hendera logo here, the horse's head, so that's pretty neat. And I did get one of my favorite scales on this particular knife as well. I found a skinny blue-black scale, so I'm really happy. This is exactly the way I wanted in terms of the configuration. A knife that did drop this year, sold out quickly, seems to be a real favorite, is this Harpoon Spanto. This is not a knife that I thought I would really like, but I kind of bought it on a whim because it was, I got in when these dropped. And I do like a harpoon a lot. This one's a little bit different than most harpoons I've had. Normally the harpoon is back further, and you can use that harpoon as a thumb stop. You can't really do that on this knife. The harpoon is just set too far forward. But I like the complexity of the grind on this. It looks really nice. It's a sharp knife, and this has such a phenomenal. Look at how drop shut this knife is. Yeah, the action is really quite good. Very, very drop shut action. Again, perfectly centered. Really, really nice. And, as you can see, I've got just a basic black G10 scale, but I have outfitted it completely front and back with bronze hardware. That's really, really nice. I like that a lot. Again, prior to this year, I didn't think I really liked anything but blue ano. But this bronze with the black, oh man, I really like that. Another knife I've taken some great shots on my Instagram account of. Finally, this is the newest XM18 in my collection. This one dropped just about a month ago. And fans of Through My Lens who've been watching my reviews lately know that I have been wanting to get a Bowie blade XM18. And I apologize, when I did the review for this, throughout the review I called it a Bowie blade. The correct pronunciation is Bowie, so I apologize for that. But again, got my favorite blue-black scale on here for the regular XM18, lots of blue anno hardware, and I do have the blue 2020 filler tab here in this one as well. So just fantastic. Love this one. Again, very drop shot action on this. The detent is perfect, as is the blade centering on this. Just fantastic. Really, I am so thrilled with this knife. I've wanted one of these Bowie blades for quite some time. My collection is in a very, very good place. There's not a lot that I want to add to this collection. You know, I've got the XM18s. I certainly don't need any more XM18s. You know, I've talked about in the past, I wouldn't mind getting an all DLC coated XM18. That would be pretty fantastic. On the Chris Reeves side of things, pretty happy here. I wouldn't mind picking up a Tanto blade Omnumzon. That I think would be pretty neat. If I did that, I might consider selling the 31, the plain Jane 31. I imagine then I would probably rebuy it when the new blade steel comes out. The S45 VN blade steel 31s come out. Don't exactly know when that's happening. I'm guessing sometime next year. But I've had an Omnumzon before, like them, but I really like the look of the Chris Reeve Tanto blades and think it would be pretty neat to have an Omnumzon with the Tanto blade. That is one thing that I would consider doing. What else? Those really are probably the only knives that I would consider adding. And if I did that, if I want to stay at the 10, and I really do want to, I think that's the way I would do it. There is a problem though. As I mentioned, I do have another Vero engineering knife, the Axon. I got in on that pre-order. I'm really kind of excited. That's not going to come for a couple of months. That's not going to be here till December. And when that one comes, that one's going to be in end cut carbon fiber. I think it was the machine rub. It's not the hand rub, it's the machine rub finish. Hopefully I'll be able to get some blue hardware for that too. I did order it with a Damascus clip, and I'm really looking forward to that. Where that's gonna be tough. I don't know that I'm gonna want to sell any of these other knives when that comes. If I did, I would probably consider selling the Synapse. Honestly, I don't carry this as much. It's just it really is just a trophy piece in my collection. Would I want to sell one Vero for another? I don't know. That's going to be a really tough decision to make when that knife comes. So as much as I'm looking forward to it coming, I'm not looking forward to figuring out how I'm going to make room in my collection for that knife. And of course, this knife just not going anywhere. This is just right in my wheelhouse. Love the carbon fiber. It's not exactly a tactical folder, but it certainly can flex into that purpose. And I just like it so much. I do want to get some blue anodized hardware for it. Konig's out of the blue anodized hardware on his website, but as soon as that comes in, I'm going to get some. That one is just not going anywhere. I've had some vague thoughts of getting another Konig Areas, maybe in blue twill. That would leave me with some tough decisions to make, and I don't necessarily want to do that. Why the emphasis on staying at 10? Well, because there's only 7 days in a week. If I go more than a couple weeks of carrying a knife, I lose interest in the knife. Just more than 10, I think, devalues all of the other knives. When you know, I have so many choices to make of what I want to carry. You know, I've been there before. I've had more than 10 knives, and I didn't enjoy it. 10 is actually a little bit more than I would prefer. And 8 would probably be a better number, but I'm in such a happy place with the particular knives that I have here. Don't see myself being able to get rid of one, let alone two of anything that's here on the table. And of course, again, being at home a lot more during the pandemic, I have just spent way too much time on Instagram, and I've gotten into a lot more of the ancillary EDC everyday carry kinds of things that's sort of associated with being a knife enthusiast. I bought a couple of these guys, previously reviewed here on the channel. This is a Kerr Knives and Tool bit driver. Got a couple of these. This one that's in polished titanium, and I've got another one that's flamed. I've got a couple of Vero Engineering fulcrums. This is the newest one, the mini fulcrum. Got the beautiful Timascus. This one is my favorite Timascus because it's predominantly blue. The one on the synapse is pretty purple, and I like the blue so much better. But I have not reviewed this yet. I do plan on doing a video on it and kind of comparing and contrasting it to its big brother, the regular size of the full-size fulcrum, which I've had for a few months, and this one does have a review here on the channel. Another big crazy purchase that I made earlier this year was this guy right here. This is the Oklahoma DC0. This is a just perfectly ideal everyday carry flashlight. I've been carrying this pretty religiously every day since I got it. So happy with this. I carry it in my back pocket actually, and clipped in the inside of my back pocket, and it just works great. Really happy with this flashlight. This has gotten me into EDCing a flashlight again, which I haven't done for several years. There's a few other things here, but those are the big ones. So there you have it. There is my knife collection update for basically the end of 2020. I don't think this is going to substantially change for the rest of 2020, at least until I get the Axon, which I think will be here in December, maybe a little sooner, maybe a little later. But there really are, other than that, there aren't any other knives on the horizon. I am so very happy, very blessed. All of these knives here are just phenomenal examples in high-end knife making, and nearly all of these are pretty hard to come by. Any one of these could be a grail for someone, really. So I'm just so blessed to have all of these here in my collection. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. God bless. We'll see you in the next one.
I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.